Hey guys, welcome to my channel and thanks for stopping by. For this video, I'll be comparing the Nebula Capsule Max against the Nebula Capsule 2. If you're interested in the Nebula Capsule 1, however, I have made another video comparing the Nebula Capsule 1 against the Capsule Max, so please feel free to check that out. If any of these videos are helpful to you, please consider leaving a comment, hitting the like button and subscribing. So on the left hand side, we have the Nebula Capsule Max, and on the right hand side we have the Nebula Capsule 2. There's tons of information about these two already on the internet, so please feel free to check that out. The boxes for these devices are always of really high quality, so I'll just show you what it looks like very quickly. This is the Capsule Max box. This Capsule 2 box. Here's a spec on the back, and then on the other side. Right, so as you can see, I'll just run through some of the spec. Capsule Max is Android 8.1 operating system, whereas the operating system for the Capsule 2 is Android TV 9.0. The resolution for both are 720. They're both 200 ANSI lumens. They both have a 9700 milliamp battery, and their input and the way they connect is slightly different. So I'll go over those bits, but just have a quick look at the boxes again. They've got a really fancy kind of a magnetic closure. If you're not interested in buying a case or anything, this is a really great way to carry it around. And that's the box for this. All right, so I'll just put those to the side. Okay. So here we have the Capsule Max. All right, really nice design. They're both the same weight as I mentioned before. Both feel very solid, and they are the size of a pint beer can or a pint glass. Now the connections on this. So here's the on button, and this is to turn the speaker into like a Bluetooth music speaker, and that goes for the Capsule 2 as well. It's the same. Okay, the main differences are, however, we have an aux in, HDMI port, USB port, and it's the DC in, how you charge the device on the Capsule Max. That's different to the Capsule 2 because we have aux in, HDMI, USB, and on the Capsule 2 we have a Type C port, USB-C to charge. Now that difference is, depending on how you use this, can be massive or can be minimal. Now let me explain. So very recently I went on a trip and I brought the Capsule Max for the first time. It's fantastic. It was really fun to use in my downtime. However, one thing that really annoyed me was the DC in. Okay, using the way to charge it was using this plug. Now, you know, this ain't the smallest thing. And it was just a hassle to carry because I'd like to travel light. However, I do carry a few things such as my camera, some batteries, I carry my laptop and the laptop's charger. So having to carry this as well, I was really aware of that during my trip. And one major thing that got me thinking about possibly going to the Capsule 2 was, if I'd lost this, or if this broke, you know, if the tip of this bent in my luggage, I'd literally just be carrying this around for the rest of the trip without being able to use it. So that was super annoying, having to carry that. Whereas this Capsule Max, and probably one of the main reasons, is the USB-C charging. Okay, some of my other devices use USB-C to charge. And just the fact that those cables are pretty easy to come by should you lose it or break one, super convenient. So having not having to bring this with you is a massive difference for me anyway. If you're someone who is probably just using this around the house, not really bothered about whether to bring that or not, then either one of these are really good. The main differences as well that I found is the battery life for this is, I think it's reported to be about 4 hours, and this is 2.5 hours. And you do really notice that. You do notice that this wears down a lot quicker than this one. So that's something else to think about. The beauty about USB-C charging is that you can charge this via a portable power bank. So that's pretty awesome. Even though it runs out quicker, I do have a portable battery that I can just bring with me and just plug it in. So it is still, wireless, it's still portable. So again, they are pretty much identical physically, apart from the way you charge it. Now, if you're someone like me who goes traveling a bit and you want to bring one of these, do consider whether having that is going to be an issue or not. If it's not, it's probably great to pick this up, to be honest. It's a bit cheaper and the battery does last longer without having to charge it as frequently. So that's the reason why you may possibly get this. As I mentioned before, I'm not a projector specialist. I'm just really a casual user that wants to get a decent picture out, something that I can carry and put in a bag very easily. So what I'm going to do next, I'm just going to project the image. Like in my previous video, I'll be projecting it on the wall from certain distances so you can see the difference between both. But they should be pretty identical side by side, as physically they are pretty much the same thing. I think the processor in this is the CPU and this is slightly upgraded as well, so it might be a bit faster, but they're running different software anyway. So the Capsule Max, since I've had it, it has been awesome. It's just the charging which is annoying. Another bit I'd like to talk about very quickly before I go to showing the images is the remotes. This is the Capsule Max remote, okay, and this is the Capsule 2's remote. One thing about the Capsule Max remote that I really dislike is this, okay, button cell batteries. Now they're super annoying to have that. It makes the remote nice and thin, but just being able to find a place that sells these when you need it most, sometimes you can't find them. That's a bit annoying. Whereas this remote is AAA batteries, so it's all good. Another thing about this remote that's great is that it has this voice. You can talk to it, which is really good. So you'll see in a minute on the software when you have to type things in, it projects like the keyboard, as if like you're typing a message, for example. So with the Capsule Max, because you can't talk into this remote, you really have to just go around on the keyboard typing in letters. It does take a while. You can, for both of them, download the Nebula app on your phone and do searches via that, but I just wanted to keep it simple. I don't want to download anything further on my phone or any other bits. So yeah, I simply just use the remote. So this remote is a lot nicer. It's more convenient with the batteries. You can talk to it, and it has this Google Play microphone button. I haven't really used that too much. I really just use it in its most basic form, simply to watch Netflix, some Amazon, bit of YouTube, that sort of thing. So I'd just like to mention, it's a rainy October afternoon here in London. As you can see, it's pretty overcast and very grey. So it's 5:20 in the afternoon. So I'll be doing a test on the images now, so you can see what it would be like on a typical day like this. So this is what the Capsule Max and the Capsule 2 look like. As you saw, it's very gloomy outside. Both images look fantastic, nice and bright, and this is on the standard mode. Okay, there is a battery saving power saver mode which does dim brightness a bit, but it's still very, very watchable. Okay, so on the left hand side is the Capsule Max, and on the right hand side is the Capsule 2. You can see they look very different. I really like the Capsule Max layout. It's just nice and simple, whereas the Capsule 2 is a bit more, you need to go into apps and Nebula Manager and all of that sort of stuff. And it's got this try searching for, and it gives loads of suggestions at the top. Some people might like that, some people might not. I prefer it just to be clean and not suggesting all these things at me. So this is what it looks like roughly 2 meters close to the wall. The projectors are still at a 3 meter distance away from the wall, and I've just moved my camera forward. So still very clean picture, really, really enjoyable to look at. So here we are about 1 meter away now from the wall. Both images are still really good. Again, if you're noticing flickering in the image, that's just my camera picking it up. If you look at it from real life, you won't notice that at all. Right, so it is nighttime outside now. It's really dark in this apartment. If I turn these projectors off, there's no street lights coming in because the tree outside the window blocks the light. So this is the image you would typically get in the night, and it is a really satisfying image to look at. So what I'll do now is I'll play a video, the same video, just to compare them side by side. So here you can see a video from my YouTube channel of myself playing the guitar. What I've done, like my previous video, is I've flipped the image on the left hand side to match the right hand side's image, so you can compare easier the color tones and the detail in the image. So this is at 3 meters away. This is what the image looks like at 2 meters away. And this is what the image looks like at 1 meter away. So here we are again, just looking at the YouTube channel from 3 meters away. Again, a very good picture. This is what the image looks like from 2 meters away. And this is what the image looks like from 1 meter away from the wall. So one thing I've noticed after using the Capsule 2 for a number of days is how difficult it is to use the Netflix app. On the Capsule Max, it is a bit cumbersome using the remote, but it's perfectly usable. Luckily on the remote there is a mouse button, so when I click it, the mouse appears, and I can scroll up and down the image, the menu system pretty fine, and then I can also go to the search button in top and then write whatever I want to look for. Now with the Capsule 2's remote, it doesn't have that mouse button, so all you can really do is move up and down, which is totally fine, and it is a bit clunky at that, so now I can't even go up, which is just so annoying. But there is also no way to go to the search button, the magnifying glass in the top right of the image, because there's no mouse button on the remote. There's no way to go there. So you've got to keep dipping in and out of Netflix, which is a pain. And you can only really look for videos or films within the menu. And if you can't see it on the menu, you're kind of stuck. The alternative is to download the Nebula Capsule app on your phone. But I didn't really want to have to download an app just to be able to use the projector. I wanted it to be, self-sufficient by itself using just a remote. So that's a big thing. If you're using Netflix a lot, and like me, you don't want to have to download an app, at this current moment in time, Netflix on the Nebula Capsule 2 is pretty useless unless you're happy just using the videos that you can see that they've suggested to you. So you can't do any form of searching. So what are my final thoughts? Well, both projectors are really good. However, there are a few downsides to both of them. Having travelled with the Nebula Capsule Max abroad, it came to my realization that the charger for it can become a problem. One, it's an extra thing to carry. And two, if you did lose it, or if it broke, or if the jack bent, then you'd be carrying around a product which is pretty useless until you find a replacement charger. Now, that issue gets erased by the Nebula Capsule 2, where it has the USB Type-C charging port. If you lose the cable, you can easily get one. They're readily available. And also you can use a portable battery to charge this while you're using it. So that sorts that issue out. So that's a benefit to this projector. Now the remotes, as I mentioned before, I only really use YouTube or Netflix, so I can't really say for other applications. But Netflix on the Capsule 2, using the remote, is almost unusable. You can select up and down a movie that's pre-suggested for you, but there is no way you can go to the search icon in the top right-hand corner of the Netflix menu and search a movie. There's just no way you can get there. Now, with the Capsule Max, because of this mouse button, you are able to get to the Netflix search icon and you can begin typing and searching for the movie you want. Okay, so that's something to think about. Whether Netflix do an update on the software, who knows? But as of now, being able to use Netflix on the Capsule 2 with this remote is very limited. Now, as I mentioned before, at this current moment in time, if you're happy to download the Nebula app on your phone in order to use Netflix, then that's great. However, you can't really use it just with the remote for the Nebula Capsule 2. So overall, I think both of them are really good. You just got to really figure out how you're going to use it. If you're not going to be traveling with it much, or if it's really going to be only in one place in your home, for example, this is a really good bet. One last thing I'd like to mention is I've been doing some research and I found a company which makes an adapter which goes from a USB Type-C cable into this. So I have ordered it. When it comes, I will do a review on that. So yeah, that's the end of the review. Hopefully you found some of it useful. Please leave a message in the comments below. If you have any questions, leave a like and consider subscribing. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.